Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So in today's video we are going to be talking about the player extensions of the Barcelona players. And so yes, this is a news and a report that did come out immediately after the match between Barcelona and Ferencváros. So we are going to see many contracts being extended within these next 48 to 72 hours. So contractually we are going to see the contracts of these players being extended for at least 5 more years. And it is official coming from Barcelona themselves. They have stated that Piquet, De Jong, Lenglet, and Ter Stegen have all renewed their contracts. And so if we see here, Gerard Piquet has extended his contract until 2024 with a release clause of 500 million euros. Looking at Ter Stegen, he has extended until 2025 with a contract of 500 million euros. Moving on to Lenglet, he has extended until 2026 and has a release clause of 300 million euros. And lastly, we can see Frankie Deyoung, who has extended until 2026 and has a release clause of 400 million euros. Now, when this report did come out, there were a lot of questions. Many were asking and saying, why are we extending the contract of this player when he is in his final years of his playing career? It makes absolutely no sense. And earlier today, about a couple of hours ago, Moises Llorens has also reported that Felipe Coutinho and Antoine Griezmann are among the players negotiating new contracts with Barcelona as part of short-term cost-cutting measures at the Camp Nou. Sergio Busquets and Sergi Roberto, who share the same agent, are also in talks over renewed terms. So because we are seeing so many players having their contracts renewed, and because we are seeing this type of consistency within these past few hours, I am going to be explaining why Bartomeu and the board members are doing this exact thing. So first things first, we already know that this club does have massive amounts of debt, and we have heard reports that Barcelona do want to cut the salaries of these players. And then later on, after those reports did come out, we have heard that some players do not agree with that. So some will say yes and some will say no. But keep in mind this, the players of Barcelona are going to be in a much greater position to win this legal battle, because in the end, these are the contracts that Barcelona have proposed to the players and they have fully agreed on. For Barcelona to just say we're going to cut the salaries will not be okay on the legal side. And I do assume that Barcelona are aware of this, and because of some of the players and the members did have no agreement, this is why we are hearing the contract renewals of these players. And because the players are going to be renewing the contract, in other words, this basically means that they will be rebuilding this contract and have this contract adjust to the situation that Barcelona is currently in. So let's say, for example, Gerard Piquet, he has extended until 2024. This was one of the biggest controversies that did come out in the past few hours, because he is heading towards the age of 34 years old, and it makes no sense to extend his contract for another 4 years. But the reason why they have extended his contract for that long, it is because the club do want to extend the time frame of paying the salaries. So whatever they do cut at the moment within these next 12 to 14 months, that remaining salary is going to be placed in the last 1 to 2 years of the player's term. And again, Barcelona do have the luxury to do that because now they have officially renewed their contract, which will give Barcelona more time to pay off the player's salary, because at the moment they cannot do that. The only thing they can do is cut the player's wages and move that into a later date. And that is going to be their only solution, right? Because if they continue with the same contracts and they cut the player wages, they are only going to be entering towards having massive amounts of legal cost coming with it, because the lawyers of these players are going to be like, wait a minute, you can't do this because we have already agreed 2 or 3 years ago that you're going to be paying this player this amount in this year. And Barcelona do not want to go through those costs or those headaches. And that is why I say that this is their only solution, which is to renegotiate these contracts, because then in the end, they will not enter into no legal battle with these players. So here's the thing that I do want to say about this situation. I think that it is ludicrous that Bartomeu and the members are doing this type of thing, because let me tell you one thing. The only thing that Bartomeu and the members are doing here is that they are leaving this financial headache towards the next members, meaning that Victor Font or Laporta will need to take care of these financial headaches when they do come in next year. And And Bartomeu does know that he is going to be leaving soon. He does know that. He knows that he only has about 3 to 5 months left on being the president of Barcelona, and that is why I believe that it is so irresponsible of him to just push these type of problems towards the next upcoming board members. So the fact that we are hearing the renewals of players like Sergi Roberto, Gerard, Piquet, Antoine Griezmann, and Busquets, those extra years that has been given to these players are completely irrelevant. Those are irrelevant years. Those years mean absolutely nothing. So for those of you guys who have questioned, does this mean that Barcelona do see these players as long-term players for this club? It does not mean that at all. These years that has been given to these players is only for the sake of giving the luxury of time to pay off the salaries of these players. And that is it. This is simply just a financial strategy. And this has been backed by Helena, who does work closely within Barcelona. And she said, contract renewals are a strategy of Bartomeu to reduce expenses in the short term and gain strength in the negotiations for the salary reduction. New renewals are not ruled out because the club is in talks with more players. And she said that exactly correct. This is just short-term solutions to give long-term headaches towards the next board members. So here's the final verdict of this whole situation. The only pro that I do see about this is that if clubs do enter and ask Barcelona on what is the fee to bring this player in, let's just say for example Antoine Griezmann or Sergi Roberto, Barcelona will be in a much better position for a big ol' final fee for these players, because they can easily say that these players do have an extra 4 to 5 years with them, which in result is going to make that player much more expensive. Because as we do know, the more years you do have in a player's contract, the higher that release clause is going to be when you are negotiating. So that is basically the only pro that I do see with this. But on the other side, there's just so many cons, because in the end, the only thing that's actually really happening here, and that is that Bartomeu does want to step away from this problem. He continues to show that he is trying to find short-term solutions, and so I cannot agree with that. And I especially cannot agree with that when you were the person who actually proposed these high wage contracts. Barcelona was considered that had the highest wage bill in Europe. So the fact that you did not plan properly and now seeing that you are paying the price for this, again, I cannot agree with this. And if you guys are wondering, what about Lionel Messi? Are we going to hear the contract renewal of Lionel Messi? That is for sure not going to happen. Like, if you were to ask right now, who is the one player that would not renew their contract with Barcelona, it would be Lionel Messi. Messi does not want to do any favors for Bartomeu. He certainly does not want to renew under this president. We know that there is tension between this player and Bartomeu, and so if we do want to hear a contract renewal from Lionel Messi, that time is only going to come when Barcelona do have a brand new president. And so yes, it is frustrating to see that many other players are getting contract renewals besides the one player that is valued the most, which is Lionel Messi. That is extremely frustrating, but that is where we are at the moment. We are going to be hearing more announcements of these players having their contracts renewed, and whatever does happen, it is going to be announced here in this YouTube channel. So that'll be it for today's Barcelona Daily News. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.